Okay, class, lecture number 26. This is our final lecture. We still have some tidying up to do here. You're going to have a review for the course here, a review for the third examination, a review of the course, prepare you for your final examination. So we still have a lot of things to do here. All right, last time we were together, we talked about Martin Luther. I mentioned to you about the curative powers of saints, the healing effects of relics. October 31st, Halloween, and 1517. This was the beginning of the Protestant Reformation. Spent a lot of time talking about that. That's always kind of fun here. The deed of arms, which was actually the trial for Martin Luther. He was excommunicated, by the way. But Martin Luther was whisked away by Frederick the Wise and hidden at the Wartburg Castle. You can visit there today if you wish to do so. And we switched from there and went into a couple of the minor religions. I think it was in this area anyway, about Zwinglianism. We talked about the Anabaptists, and also about England and Henry VIII, and Catherine of Aragon, and of course the annulment of that marriage. And Henry married Anne Boleyn, and he and Anne Boleyn had a child together, and her name was Elizabeth, and she would later be Queen Elizabeth I. All right, we also talked about, well, that was about it anyway. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and get into today's lecture. It's not going to take us very long to go into this here, folks, but I want to introduce you to another individual here. It was almost as equal in importance as that of Martin Luther. And he's going to bring about a different type of faith here that bears his name. So let's go back to our camera here and let's see who we have. And that individual's name is John Calvin. All right, now his proper name, he's French. He was from Rouen, France, and his proper name was Jean Calvin. But he was persecuted because of his religious beliefs, and then he went to Switzerland for a period of time here, but his life time was 1509, 1564, and anyway, Calvinism, and that's what it's going to be referred to as. Now, he wrote this piece, which was one of the most influential pieces in Protestant theology anyway. It's called The Institutes of the Christian Religion, and I hope you recognize that. Now, we also have for John Calvin, he preached or practiced and believed in the ideas of predestination. And what I mean by that is you are chosen by God either before you're born, whether you're going to have salvation or whether you will not. And this is referred to as predestination. There's not one thing you can do about this. You cannot change that destiny. You can only hope that you're one of the chosen, and you just hope to lead the most Christian type life that you can. All right, so anyway, that's John Calvin. Now, in this faith here, which is, I want you to match this up to what we've been talking about with the Catholic faith, also the Lutheran faith, and see what we have here. Under Calvinism, there's no rituals. Now, match that up to like Catholicism. There's no wearing of vestments, and I'm talking about like religious robes. Match that up to the Catholic faith. There are no images, no stained glass, no images whatsoever. Instrumental music is the only thing that is allowed. There's no singing of songs. It is permissible to sing psalms. The congregation can choose their own minister. They can choose their own place of worship. Basically what it amounts to, we get 4 bare walls and a sermon. Kind of like some of the classrooms here at Bubble State here, folks. Oh, that was a terribly ugly thing to say. And if you were in my classroom, you would agree with me that it is not 4 bare walls by any means here. All right, and then Calvinist faith. We also had some other things that were permitted or not permitted here. There were no self-indulgences whatsoever. No dancing, no card playing, no attending theater, no working or playing on the Sabbath. Innkeepers had to ensure that guests gave thanks, said a blessing, before eating or for drinking. And no one could stay up after 9 o'clock in the evening. And you would have a consistory, in this consistory, that would check on individuals. Violations were often met with executions. So it was kind of a stark way of life with that. All right, now let's see what Calvinists are recognized as in various parts of Europe. And in Scotland, Calvinists are Presbyterians. One of my friends, who is one of my closest friends, who is a Scotsman, he is Scottish. And in fact, that's the name that we give him. We call him Scotty. He's an atheist, I know, but he tells me, and my friends anyway, that when he was growing up, he was Presbyterian. So being in Scotland and being a Calvinist, he's a Presbyterian. All right, if you live in the Netherlands, then you're referred to as the Dutch Reformed. It's a Dutch Reformed Church. If you're in France and you're a Calvinist, Calvinists. And we will talk quite a bit about this next semester in one of our early lectures here, folks. If you are French and a French Calvinist, you're known as a Huguenot. All right, if you're an English Calvinist, you are a Puritan. You're a Puritan. All right. And, of course, Puritanism will come to this country, Presbyterians, and also Dutch Reforms. I don't know of any Huguenots personally, anyway. All right, but the Catholic Church is not going to take this lying down by any means here. I mean, we have with the Protestant Reformation, and now we have Calvin. With John Calvin and his Calvinism, the Catholic Church has a serious threat on its hand here. So the Catholic Church will bring forth a Catholic Reformation or Counter-Reformation. We've addressed this at earlier times, briefly anyway. This is an attempt to bring about moral and institutional reform within the Catholic Church. All right, now some of the Reformed popes recognized here, and we've talked some about these individuals before. Paul III, Paul IV, St. Pius V, Sixtus V. It was Paul IV that ordered that clothing be painted over the nude figures of Michelangelo's Genesis scenes that are on the Sistine Chapel ceiling, and also the emasculation, if you will, of the male statues here. Okay, so let's talk about this for just a second here, folks. In fact, it'll be more than a second. This will make up most of our lecture today. And like I said, the Catholic Church is not going to take this lying down at all, so we have some real serious threats to the existence of the Catholic Church. So what the Church did in 1545, they conducted one of the most important ecclesiastical conclaves in the history of the Catholic Church. And what is going, it takes place at the Council of Trent. Trent is a place which is in Italy, in which the prelates just sat down and decided, what do we need to change? What do we want to affirm about our religion here? And what they ended up doing was reaffirming all the tenets of the Catholic faith here. All right, so this was a challenge to Protestant reformers here. So let's go through some of these here. In fact, I think I'll just show all of these to you good folks. And what I want you to do is match this up to what we talked about the last time we were together with Martin Luther. And Martin Luther and what he moved away from the Catholic Church. And then what is the Catholic Church going to consider here? Are good works necessary? Do good works enhance your chances of salvation? Money to the church? Going to confession? Attending Mass? Participating in the Eucharist, the Lord's Supper, will that help you enhance your chances of going into heaven? Of course it will. Of course it will. Good works actually do enhance your chances there. What about rituals in the Catholic Church? Sure, they're absolutely necessary. What about the wearing of vestments? So different than that of Calvinism. The wearing of robes, and I'm talking about religious robes and gowns, that sort of thing. Are they necessary? Indeed they are. The burning of candles, and that's a part of the Catholic Church. Instrumental music, the singing of music here, the burning of incense. And you probably have seen some of this before. It's what is called a thurible, and that's where the priest will walk through the sanctuary, and he will carry this, and we get the clouds of incense smoke that are coming out of this. It's known as a thurible, by the way. All right, and who else? What else do we have here? Is there a purgatory? Well, of course there's a purgatory. There is a place that is a place for the atonement of sins before the soul goes to heaven. Do prayers to saints actually work? Indeed they do. Prayers to saints work. Like I said, if you need that good meal for Christmas, you know who to pray to. If you're having nightmares, you know who to pray to. And celibacy by the monks and the priests and the Pope. Is it necessary? Of course it's necessary. You're married to God. You're married to God. And what about relics? Holy relics. Are they necessary, and do they work? Do they bring about healing effects? Absolutely, they do. Take that plastic Jesus and put it on the dashboard of your car. And what about monasticism? These grown men going far into the countryside and dedicating their lives to God and to Jesus Christ. Is it necessary? Indeed it is. It is necessary. And the Catholic Bible, the Vulgate, is the official Bible of the Catholic Church. And what about indulgences and dispensations? Are they necessary? Indeed they are. We don't need to require money to be donated to the church to get the granting of indulgences or dispensations. And what about papal supremacy? Is the Pope supreme over the cardinals, bishops, and the priests and the archbishops. Absolutely. Absolutely. And one other thing that came out of this group here, folks, and I'm talking about coming out of the Council of Trent, is a new organization which is called the Society of Jesus. It was developed by St. Ignatius Loyola. And I want you to recognize that, St. Ignatius Loyola. They refer to themselves as the Jesuits, And they wear the black habits, if you know what I'm talking about, the black robes anyway, and dedicate their lives to Jesus through loyalty and chastity, missionary work. Very, very eloquent speakers and very persuasive here. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to be around Jesuit priests or Jesuit ministers here, Jesuit priests. It's, for me anyway, on my couple of occasions, it has not been a very comfortable experience. They're very, very persuasive, and they will stay with you and just not let you off the hook, not let you change the subject, and it's just not one of my most memorable experiences here. Okay, here, folks, we've lectured for 11 minutes today. I told you that it would be a short lecture. And that's okay. I'm going to stop the lecture here. We're on our way to our third examination, and I want to prepare a review for you good folks. So that'll be coming shortly here. Okay, thank you very much.